I want to talk about emotional intelligence, why it's so important, and why it's not what a lot of men think it is. Because it's not a lot of sappy stuff. So I'm out here on a hike. I decided at the beginning to follow a trail, and I knew the trail was a big loop and bring me back to my car when I was done. Partway along, I began to have doubts. I began to think, okay, I think I took a wrong turn. I don't think I'm going the right direction. Am I lost? And all those things going on. And this has some little bit of anxiety with it. Turns out I was fine. I also recognized that I had this feeling in my body that I know is anxiety. It's a physical feeling. I feel it in my chest, over my heart, a little bit of kind of a tightness and this kind of weird, flubby feeling. It's hard to translate into words, but I know it when I feel it. Now, this is emotional intelligence. So why is this important? Well, the thing is that a lot of us think that emotions begin with our thoughts. We have a negative thought that leads to a negative emotion and it spirals. That isn't the case. So in this case, I made a decision to follow this trail. And this trail I knew looped around, but at some point, the trail didn't meet my preconceived expectations. My subconscious mind noticed things were not what I thought they were going to be. There's a particular point in the trail I reach where I come down off a hill and I hit the water and a turn, and I expected subconsciously that I was going to see the bridge where I crossed to get here, and I didn't. And the further I walked and didn't see the bridge, the more anxious I got. This anxiety came from subconsciously, my brain said, this doesn't meet our expectations. And this is something that's hardwired into all of us. It's hardwired into animals that aren't capable of conscious thought. They still can feel these things, this anxiety, this fear. So it's a pre-consciousness thing. And then when I begin to feel that, then my brain goes, okay, why am I feeling anxious? Why am I nervous? And I begin to ask those questions and sort it out and figure out, and I pull out a map and make a decision. Done. But by recognizing that feeling in my body and knowing, I was able to go, oh, I'm feeling anxious. Okay, now I can ask the questions. Whereas in a different situation, a different person who didn't recognize that feeling would not necessarily address it, or might say, hey, it's not important, so I'm gonna just go on and do whatever. And then it builds and builds and builds. Now the important part here is that as these emotional states build, especially negative emotional states like anxiety and depression, they begin to shut down blood flow to the prefrontal cortex, which is the part of the brain that makes rational decisions. And so when you stop making those rational decisions, you start making mistakes. If I got overly anxious and started making mistakes, I might have gone off in the wrong direction and gotten lost instead of rationally trusting that I looked at the map, the trail loops around. If I stay on the trail, I'll be fine. Yes, I'm on the trail. I see the marker. I'm fine. But if I allow that anxiety to spiral up, I can't do that. And the same thing happens with positive emotions. If you think of a manic depressive person in a manic phase, they're not making rational decisions either. Any emotion that gets way out of control causes these problems. And emotional intelligence really involves understanding this process and being able to recognize it before it spirals out of control, before you make those bad decisions. In this case, I recognized the anxiety, I asked the right questions, I made a proper decision, and I'm safe. I'm back back where I want to be. But this can happen anywhere in life. When you're having a conflict with your partner or an argument with somebody, any of these kinds of things, if you allow the negative feelings, so you don't recognize them and don't respond to them in the appropriate way, they spiral out of control and you make bad decisions, which can have major consequences. Getting cut off in traffic, again, that fear, that frustration, that anger that pops up, it can lead you to make stupid decisions because you're not thinking rationally. That's really all emotional intelligence is recognizing those things, being able to identify them, and then deal with them appropriately, having appropriate skills and asking the right questions and doing the right things. So hopefully that's helpful. Peace, y'all. Bye.